In this video, we are going to be making corrections and reviewing the problems from your mini assessment 5 to get some bonus points back. So let's get started. All right, question 1 says you have 20 quarts of milk. How many gallons is this? So first we need to think about what do we know about quarts and gallons? If you look on your reference sheet, which we don't have in front of us, but that's okay, we know that 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts. So now we need to think, how do we go from quarts to gallons? If we look here, to go from 4 quarts back to 1 gallon, we would need to do what? That is right, divide by 4. So, because again, to go from 4 quarts to 1 gallon, we divide by 4. 20 quarts divided by 4 equals 5. Therefore, there are 5 gallons makes 20 quarts. And again, so let's do a quick recap. There are 4 quarts to 1 gallon. So to go from quarts back to gallons, you divide by 4. 20 quarts divided by 4 is 5. So 5 gallons makes 20 quarts. All right, let's keep going. You have 48 fluid ounces of juice. How many cups is this? All right, so we are going from fluid ounces to cups. We need to think about, what do we know about fluid ounces and cups? We know that 8 fluid ounces makes 1 cup. All right, so we need to think about, how do we go from fluid ounces to cups? That is correct. We divide by 8 to go from 8 fluid ounces to 1 cup. So let's do that. 48 fluid ounces divided by 8 is 6 cups. Therefore, 6 cups makes 48 fluid ounces. All right, let's keep going. Daniel bought 4 gallons of gas for $12. How much would he spend if he got 20 gallons of gas? All right, so we always need to start with our original rate. We spent $12 on 4 gallons. But we want to know, how much would it cost for 20 gallons? When we are solving a problem like this, we always want to go to our unit price first. So we want to know, how much would it be for just 1 gallon? How do I go from 4 gallons to 1 gallon? That is correct. We divide by 4. All right, so $12 divided by 4 is $3 for 1 gallon. All right, now we need to think about, how do I go from 1 gallon to 20 gallons? That is correct. Multiply by 20. 1 gallon times 20 is 20 gallons. 3 gallons times 20, $3 times 20 is $60. Again, if it's $12 for 4 gallons, that means we need to find the unit price, which is $3 per gallon if you divide by 4. Then multiply that by 20 to go to 20 gallons, and is $3 times 20 is $60 for 20 gallons. All right, let's keep going. A grocery store charges $10.30 for 5 pounds of grapes. I'm just going to write that down because that seems like it's important information. What is the price per pound of grapes? All right, so we know that per pound means what? How many pounds? That is correct. It means 1 pound. So we want to go from 5 pounds down to 1 pound. How do I do this? That is correct. Divide by 5. All right, so $10.30 divided by 5. Let's kind of do this by the dollars and then by the cents. $10 divided by 5 is $2. 30 cents divided by 5 is 6 cents. So it would be $2.06 for 1 pound. All right, let's keep going. You spend $12.40 on 4 gallons of gas. Again, writing down this information because it's going to be important. How much would 5 gallons cost? So that is our end goal, is 5 gallons. All right. So first we need to think about, since we can't go from 4 gallons to 5 gallons, what we're going to do is we're going to find the price of 1 gallon. How do I go from 4 gallons to 1 gallon? That is right. We are going to divide by 4. So let's do $12.40 divided by 4. We know that $12 divided by 4 is $3. 40 cents divided by 4 is 10 cents. So it would be $3.10 for 1 gallon. But now we need to go to 5 gallons because remember, that is our end goal. How do we go from 1 gallon to 5 gallons? That is right, multiply by 5. All right, so $3 times 5 is $15. 10 cents times 5 is 50 cents. So it is $15.50 for 5 gallons. All right, let's keep going. Train A travels 90 meters in 2 seconds. Train B travels 150 meters in 3 seconds. Which train is traveling at a faster speed? So we need to think about, how do we get speed? We divide the distance by the time, because we need to make these both out of 1 second. Because we can't compare 2 seconds to 3 seconds, we need to make them both per second to get the speed. How would I go from 2 seconds to 1 second? That is right, we would divide by 2. So 90 divided by 2 would give us, that's right, 45 meters per second. All right, now let's look at train B. 150 meters in 3 seconds, but we just want per second because we want the speed to compare them both per second. 150 meters divided by 3 is going to give us, that is right, 50 meters per second. So now we need to think about which train is traveling faster. That is right, it would be train B because they go more meters per second. In 1 second, they go 50 meters, but train A only goes 45 meters. All right, time for our last question. Store A sells 5-pack of soda for $10.50. Actually, I'm going to write it the other way around. You always want to write the money first. Store B sells an 8-pack of soda for $16.24. Which has the better deal? Explain your reasoning. So we want to know the better deal, meaning which price is cheaper per one. That is what we want to know here. All right. To get the cost of one soda at store A, we need to do $10.50 divided by 5. $10 divided by 5 is $2. 50 cents divided by 5 is 10 cents. So store A is $2.10 per unit, or for one. All right, now let's look at store B, $16.20 for 8. We want the price of just one. $16 divided by 8 is $2, so they're going to be a similar price. 24 cents divided by 8 is 3 cents. Reminder, 3 cents is written as 0.03, not 0.3. A lot of you made that mistake on your quiz. And that way, and then you thought that store B was higher. But it is actually $2.03. 2.3 would be $2.30. So in reality, store B is cheaper because it is only $2.03 per unit, whereas store A is $2.10 per unit. And that concludes our corrections. I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you were able to answer the questions to get your points back. We will see you next time.